speaking of insane situations, and I do have to say, this is probably, as someone who doesn't really partake in this community, it's been wild to see the situation
The
in
puns
Monster
never
Hunter Wilds.
the puns never end, huh?
No, but it has been wild. Like, I have been looking at this going, dude, what the hell is going on in Monster Hunter? It is mostly negative right now. People are beyond upset. Every day I open my X and it's just more people complaining about stuff in Monster Hunter. What is going on?
Monster Hunter Wilds has had some pretty bad reception on Steam because the optimization hasn't been great, and that's something that, whenever there's poor optimization, there's going to be issues.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there has been something which is some of the features that this Monster Hunter brings is a huge departure from previous Monster Hunter. So in terms of like the overall difficulty of the game, which is only now getting updates that are bringing meaningful challenge for the veterans, right? Because we're getting 8-star, 5-strength tempered monsters now, which are really, really stronger than some of the stuff that we had before. But up until this point, like, if you are somebody who knows how to play Monster Hunter, you are going to just shred through the game. That doesn't mean the game's not fun. It's still really fun, but a lot of people wanted more challenge. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is, like I said already, performance. But on top of performance, there's another problem, which is, just the GPU situation right now is a piece of shit. So NVIDIA's drivers pretty much during the review period of Monster Hunter were garbage. Like, this is what everybody tells me. And those drivers have been garbage nonstop. So NVIDIA is actually doing worse than AMD in terms of fucking driver stability, which is mind-blowing, I know.
That is mind-blowing.
So that is also something that a lot of people, because of like the timing of them going to shit with their drivers being very closely tied to the release of Monster Hunter Wilds, that's also something that, people will say, oh, Rurikon's making up excuses. Like, no, Wilds also has performance problems. Don't get it twisted. It has huge performance issues on a wide variety of systems. But NVIDIA's drivers are just exacerbating the situation that is happening in Monster Hunter Wilds as well. The other thing is most people don't update their chipset drivers, which is something that I've come to find over the last couple of weeks. I've heard from people after I said, hey, listen, try updating your chipset drivers. Most of the people came back and they were like, oh man, my performance was shit. I updated my chipset drivers and shit's completely different now. It ain't perfect, but it's way better than it was before. So
I will be honest, I don't even update my chipset drivers. Like, they're sort of there, they do their thing. And unless they create serious problems, I won't touch them.
Yeah, but the problem is that some people never even installed them to begin with, so they don't even have. They have whatever came with Windows.
There's also BIOS updates. A lot of people don't do BIOS updates ever.
BIOS sometimes less important. It varies on a case-by-case basis. Depends on
dependent on, right? Especially when you have like new hardware coming in, like a new graphics card coming in. You can sometimes get the BIOS of your old motherboard is not playing nice with the new hardware, so you gotta have to have an update to make sure they're playing nice.
But yeah, so there's all of that stuff going on, and then at the same time, it's just like there's also people that came from stuff like Iceborne and Sunbreak, which is the G rank expansions, and those expansions come with way more content than the base game, like Monster Hunter Wilds, and they're kind of like comparing it that way, and to them it's like, so wait, in this other game I had fucking 70 plus monsters, and in this new one I have 29. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, what's going on? Massive downgrade, right? So there's that as well. But I think one of the biggest problems, and especially now that it is going mostly negative, this might be the one problem that is causing it. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to say that I speak for everyone in the community. This is from everything that I'm looking at, the reason why it might be mostly negative. What I noticed was in the latest title update, which came with the more challenging monsters and all of that stuff, I noticed that I booted up my game and I was like, oh, it hasn't recompiled my shaders. Because you usually see like a small little loading screen that does shader compilation.
Yeah, where it goes recompiling shaders.
It didn't recompile the shaders, and I was like, huh, that's strange. And then I'm getting into the game and it's a fucking slideshow. Like, it's actually fucking atrocious. So I'm like, oh, I need to figure out a way to force the game to recompile the shaders. So I go and I look up how to do that. And there's a file on the folder of the game called shader.cache. You just delete that, and the game will recompile all of the shaders. Supposedly, if it's on an NVIDIA card, the file is called shader.cache2. So, yeah, you just delete that file, then you relaunch the game, and it will recompile all the shaders, and that fixed the problem straight up. The problem is, I think a lot of people are running into this problem, and they're like, the game is fucking unplayable right now, which is, it's correct. It is unplayable. If it doesn't recompile your shaders after the update, you are fucking cooked. You're never going to play the game like that. It's literally impossible. So I think a lot of people ran into that, and they decided to like voice that on Steam reviews.
Can I ask, was it made with Unreal?
No, it's RE Engine.
Why is it struggling so much? Like,
because
this is a new... is it because they were really pushing the technology?
So what happens with RE Engine is that this is the engine that they did to do their Resident Evil remakes. So it's very good for small scope. It also did amazing work getting Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak to work on the Switch, because it's just like a feat of technology how good that game looks on the Switch while still maintaining steady 30 FPS. It's like fucking insane. Mm-hmm. So that's what they're doing it for, like, right, for mostly limited games. And then when they first used it in Dragon's Dogma 2, there were serious performance issues there that they haven't been able to fix up until this point. And now they're doing it in Monster Hunter Wilds, and basically some of those problems are still there. Like, it's very heavy on the CPU side of things, which is why I said chipset drivers become even more important, because chipset drivers is kind of like how your motherboard communicates with your CPU. So if that's not being done to the best possible extent, you're not really taking full advantage of your CPU, and that's going to cause you issues, right? So that is another situation. But yeah, it's mostly performance stuff. Some people aren't happy with the level of challenge that the game brought. Some people have other issues like focus mode, removing some of the, some of the commitment that you have to do to animations. So there's a bunch of different things that can happen.
But most of it is just performance or changes to gameplay that people aren't necessarily super on board with at the moment.
Yeah, that's why
I mean, mostly negative is insane.
Yeah, it is.
For a Monster Hunter title, that is insane.
Yeah, like
Capcom tends to have a very loyal player base, so to see that, I think, can't be fun for the developers, right? Realizing that, oh shit, the community has turned. They've turned, and it's not pretty. You know what? What I will say to the gaming community, and this is hats off to gamers, I think gamers have finally, for years, the media sort of treated review bombing as if it was an actual reason for why things fail. Even if you sort of go, wait, but that doesn't track, because if a game was really, really good, even if it was review bombed, people would still play it, you know, because it's a really, really good game. And I think you can still see that because Monster Hunter still has a lot of people playing it, right? It's not like people aren't playing it, but I think gamers have finally realized review bombing is a way to get our way, right? We can punish these guys by review bombing their games and making sure that they do the fixes that we want. So, hats off to the gamers for fighting back.
There is
maybe there's going to be innocent people caught up in the nonsense, but hey, overall it might be good.
There is one more thing that if I don't mention it, the community is going to rake me over the coals, which is a lot of people are also